Aza here from freebellydanceclasses.com. It's been a while. I have not done a car talk, if you want to call it that. The car vlogs and answering like really quick questions that come up a lot. So the question I want to kind of address today is one that's kind of interesting. Well, it's not really a question, but it's an observation that I've noticed just from the comments on different videos, mine and other dancers out there, is the idea of what's traditional and what's not. And it seems like there's a lot of comments on different videos saying, oh, you know, she's not really traditional, or that style is not really traditional, or you shouldn't call it Egyptian because that's really not Egyptian, or you shouldn't call it this or that. And it's just all this arguing about what's traditional, what's not. And it's interesting to me to see, because it's coming from both sides. It's coming from the Arab side, which they feel entitled, of course, to describe what's traditional, you know. So there's a lot of Arabs commenting on different videos, you know, saying, you know, like if there's a blonde woman dancing, then oh, that's not traditional, or sometimes I mean it's right, sometimes it's not, but most of the time it's just not coming from I think from a dance perspective or from even a technical perspective. It's mostly coming from this idea that, you know, I am Arab, therefore I'm entitled to make a comment about this. But it's also coming from the other side as well, you know, Western belly dancers criticizing different belly dancers here in the United States or in Europe or in Latin America, and describing what's traditional and what's not. And it's very interesting for me to hear all this stuff, because one of the most beautiful things about the art of belly dancing is that it's been around for so long. And the reason it's been around that long is because it's changed so much throughout the times, and anything that does not change does not last. That's just how it is in life, you know. You have to progress. One other beautiful thing about the art of belly dancing is that it truly is one of the few dances that really became much more popular outside its culture than within its culture. So like if you go to a lot of Arab countries, you won't see actually a lot of belly dancing. That is the truth. You know, I hear that a lot, where it's like people go into Egypt and they're like, oh, I'm just gonna go there belly dance day and night and take classes and workshops, and you know, and I'll just be like in the belly dance bazaars. And I'm like, that's not really how those people live. You know, they don't really belly dance all day long, you know, and belly dancing is not everywhere really, and it's not like there are classes everywhere and workshops happening every second, and it's not like every open air market you're gonna go to there's a, you know, belly dance costumes all over the place. It's not really how it works. It is still considered something, the more of a specialty that few people do. But in the West, you know, we just think that that's how it is there. But anyways, so there is a beauty to this, you know, an art that is very popular outside its own culture, much more popular outside its own culture than it is within its own culture, and an art that really has been around for centuries. You know, just a combination of these two factors will tell you that if you take an art like this, it is not gonna look anything like what the word traditional might mean to some people. There's nothing traditional about it. It's changed, and every culture that adopts this art and practices it, you know, has its own interpretation of it. So it's not gonna be the traditional, whatever traditional means, you know. I personally, a lot of times when I look at dancing and I see, you know, like belly dance performances, and I see, you know, like obviously the basic moves are there, the basic, you know, way of moving the body is there, which is really, to me, what defines the art of belly dancing as far as, you know, dance, you know, dance on its own. You know, it's the way you move, you know, it's different than ballet, it's different than, you know, than salsa dancing, than swing, and all these styles. It's very different. And so the way we move the body is very unique to the art of belly dancing. And so when someone does his own interpretation, or her or his own interpretation, the basic elements of how you move the body in the art of belly dancing are still there. So that still makes it belly dancing, right? But then I love seeing, you know, other dancers have their own interpretation, add movements that you wouldn't expect, and use music you wouldn't expect. You use props you wouldn't expect. I mean, that is the artist's own interpretation, and any artist should have that freedom to do that. Now, of course, there are limitations to doing this as well. You know, you don't want that part, or the fusion part, or the creation part, or the outside the belly dance world part to be the majority of your performance, because yeah, people are going to start to wonder, is this really belly dancing that you're doing, or is it some other, you know, modern interpretive dance with some elements of belly dancing thrown in there? So that's, I think, where you got to draw the line, is the majority of your dance traditional versus, or belly dance versus not. But traditional, the word itself it's really a hard way to define, and I really don't think anybody could actually define what traditional is when it comes to the art of belly dancing. You know, even Arabs can't. You know, sometimes Arabs, like, they really would describe it maybe based on the music, right? They'll listen to the music and they're like, well, that's not really Arabic music, you know, like if you do in tribal fusion or whatever. And so they'd say, well, that's not belly dancing, right? So, I mean, everybody has their own definition as to what they think is traditional, and then based on that, they judge other people. Whereas other people maybe are trying to stay authentic to the art, you know, from a movement standpoint, but maybe be creative in another part, like the music. Sometimes they try to stay, you know, traditional or true to the art from a standpoint of the music, but then add props that are technically not traditional. So, I mean, that is the artist's interpretation, and I think, like I said, anybody should be free to do that. So for me personally, I don't really sit and, like, honestly think about this at all. Like, I really don't. When I watch someone perform, I don't say, oh, that's traditional, that's not. You know, it's, I mean, we throw the word traditional, and I'm guilty of it as well, around a lot, you know, in different contexts, or meaning things that, you know, someone else might not mean it the same way. So we're all guilty of the way we use the term. But to judge someone as to whether they should even belly dance or not because their form is not traditional, I don't think anybody honestly has the right to do that. And no one really knows what that definition is. And, you know, and those people who are posting comments everywhere saying things like this is not traditional, I would love for you to post a video of you dancing and showing us what traditional really looks like, so maybe people can actually have an idea. You know, it's so easy on YouTube to just, like, throw comments right and left and judge people and hide behind a username when, you know, the person probably putting that comment has never even belly danced maybe in their entire life, you know? So if you want to criticize something, you have to show what you think is right, you know? Like I always say, when you want to tell people what's wrong, you need to be able to show them also what's right. And if you can't do that, then don't open your mouth, honestly, because all you're doing is, like, it's basically abuse and personal attacks is all it becomes. And it's so easy. I mean, even if you are an artist, even if you are a dancer, a belly dancer, or a Middle Eastern musician or whatever, and you're criticizing this dance form, you know, from a certain performance, just know one thing, that if you have not actually belly danced and practiced hard, it's so easy for you to judge. You know, like they say, art is difficult, criticism is easy, art is difficult, or something like that. It's so easy to sit around and call yourself a critic because you have to do nothing, you know, and then the person who's trying to create their interpretation of their performance and their music, you know, they're working hard and they're putting their heart and soul into it sometimes, and to be criticized in that way sometimes could feel like a personal attack and an insult, and it could lead to other things. You know, people deal with all kinds of personal issues because of the way they are attacked online all the time. You know, people deal with anxiety, people quit dancing completely because of a certain comment on a video and things like that. So before you start throwing these things out there, you know, it's important to, like, know that you might do it for fun or because you just have nothing going on in your life, but it could hurt other people. So if you have any constructive criticism as to describing what's traditional, what's not, and who should dance and who should not, be detailed, you know, really go technically into it and let us know. So that's my 2 cents, and I don't want to make this video a bit too long. So what do you guys think? Post a comment below. Let's start a good conversation. What do you think of as traditional, and do you care to dance traditionally? or do you think that the freedom of interpreting your dance should come first? And also, like, where do you draw the line? Like, when does fusion become something else that's not belly dancing? You know, where do you draw the line as a performer? So post a comment and let's have a fun discussion about this. In the meantime, I'll see you guys in another video. Keep on watching the other videos on freeballedanceclasses.com. Keep on dancing, and I send you lots of hacks and shimmies from my car to hopefully not yours. I hope that you're not watching this. Maybe you're listening to it while you're driving. It's easy for me to do this. Got both hands. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.